President Trump reportedly weighing military action in Iran. Iran has said it will hit back against U.S. bases. Overnight, that country launching dozens of drone strikes inside of Israel. And Israel's Air Force bombed several targets in Iran. Sima Shine is an Israeli expert on Iran, a former Mossad analyst and former head of the Iran desk at Israel's National Security Council. She's now with the think tank Institute for National Security Studies, and it's good to see you, Sima. Can you just map out what would be your perfect outcome for starting right now for where we are? What would be a perfect outcome for you that we should hope for in this conflict?
Well, the main object of this war, as was also expressed by the Prime Minister, was to destroy the Iranian nuclear program. Since Iran didn't want to give up in 5 rounds of talks with the Trump administration to give up its enrichment, Israel on the 61 day, 1 day after the ultimatum of President Trump, decided to do it through military means. So therefore, the ideal outcome should be Iran with no nuclear program, with no capability. Let me put the emphasis on what is important: with no capability to break out to a nuclear device.
Is that? We've been talking about it all morning and in some heated discussions, and obviously there are those that really want America to stay out of foreign conflicts because of the recent past that we've seen, and arguing for diplomatic solutions. Is it possible to have the perfect diplomatic solution with Iran? Do we need to try this at least one more time to do compliance and where they, we get to go in and send inspectors in, and they promise not to develop it, and we can monitor it and trust what they say. If we tried that, should we try it one more time, or have we learned our lesson yet?
You see, the problem is that the diplomatic venue has already been exercised, and nothing has come out of it. Now, the reason nothing has come out, it should be mentioned, the gap between the demand of the American position to have a zero enrichment in Iran could not be accepted by the Iranians, and they were willing to negotiate and to have a new agreement. But they wanted to have, one, the legitimacy to continue and enrich, and two, to really do it. They were willing to do it on a low level, not in high level, but the demand to completely dismantle the program and not have any enrichment was not accepted, and this was my evaluation from the first day of the negotiations. Iran, if there is something that we can say that in the last 3 decades, as well as it was in the JCPOA in 2015, the right to enrich and enriching, not only to enrich the right, but also to exercise the right, was the fundamental basis demand of Iran. And I was sure from the beginning that if this demand will be from the US, there will be no agreement. So the question that you are asking is an important question, because at the end of any war, we need a political solution. And the question is, what kind of a political solution we can have now? And you mentioned at the beginning that Khamenei came out today for the first appearance on TV and said it very, very simple: we will not abandon and we will not surrender. And he used the word that President Trump used yesterday: surrender. So Iran said, and I believe them, they are not going to surrender. They are willing to take upon themselves all the prices that they are already paying, and they would pay, but they will not surrender.
And if it's even low-level enrichment, is that for nuclear power, or is the eventual end to all these efforts is to eventually be to have a nuclear bomb? And if everyone says that can't possibly ever happen, then it just seems like diplomatic efforts are just, they're just delaying, and we'll be talking about this again in 3 or 4 years.
So, first of all, the aim of Iran is to be, first of all, a threshold nuclear state, and to be in a situation where it's only a political decision to break out to a nuclear device. They were, before this war, they were in this position. A threshold state, according to the reports of the IAEA, they were a threshold nuclear state, and it was only a political decision. They say they will not go for nuclear devices, but they say they can say something different in another time. We know from the intelligence and from what the Mossad has brought in 2018, a part of the Iranian nuclear archive, that the directive of the leader was for 5 devices. That was correct to 2003-4. So we are 20 years later, and there is no reason to believe that they don't want to have a nuclear device, many nuclear devices. So the problem is that we cannot allow Iran to have the capability to make this decision. And this is the problem with low enrichment. Low enrichment in itself does not bring them to a nuclear device. But once they know how to enrich to 90%, they can do it.